What is up, guys? I am Frosty Osty, and this is the newest Frosty features. Last Friday, it was announced that we are going to have Wong put into the game as a member of the Darkholders team, Morgan Le Fay's leading team. I have some feelings about that. Maybe we'll touch on that a bit, but ultimately, I'm just going to dive into who Wong is in the comics, and you know, maybe bring some insight of what some things we might be able to expect from Wong looking forward. So to kind of kick this off, I just want to point out Wong is a side character. Wong is the Jarvis to Iron Man is Wong to Doctor Strange, right? On a really deep level. So there isn't actually that much about Wong. Like, he's been in a lot, but very little of it only involved him. In fact, he's kind of one of those characters that kind of falls into that category where he's in a lot of stories, but you forget he's there. In fact, when I was doing research on this, something I recently read, Death of Doctor Strange, I totally forgot Wong was in it. So there's that. And Wong's a cool character, and he's got some really neat stuff. They just haven't explored him fairly. So I'm going to try to give some of his cooler highlights, some of his bigger story points, more love, kind of go into some of the more exciting stuff about Wong. And if I missed something, or there's something that you think I screwed up, just let me know in the comments. That's totally fine. Nobody's perfect. All right, so let's get started. So Wong. So this is what Wong looks like in the comics. His name is Wong, and he doesn't really have anything else he goes by. So the first appearance is Strange Tales 110 from 1963. So he's another. They're pulling a lot of characters recently from the 60s, and that's chill. But he is one of those characters from the 60s. So he's been around for a long time. Powers and abilities. Sorcery, obviously, and martial arts. So, a big thing about Wong that I feel like the MCU hasn't quite done correctly is Wong is not that much of a sorcerer. He is a sorcerer, but not to a point. He is not a Doctor Strange type. He's a few steps below Doctor Strange. He's a few steps below Dr. Voodoo. He was the Eye of Agamotto did consider him at one point as a replacement for Doctor Strange for Sorcerer Supreme, but ultimately that went to Dr. Voodoo. It considered Wong, Dr. Voodoo, Morgan Le Fay, and a few other people. But at the end of the day, Wong is a sorcerer. He's not that good of a sorcerer. Namely, what Wong does is martial arts. So Wong actually is the Kamar-Taj has its own form of martial arts, and Wong is a master of it. And Wong is an insane martial artist. And because of the MCU and more recent comics, they've backed off him fighting. But used to, he could take on demon lords and stuff just with his physical prowess alone. He was a killer martial artist. But lately in the comics, it is pointed out that he isn't staying at the top of his work. He isn't keeping on it. So he's actually lost his edge as far as a lot of the martial arts goes. So he can still fight, but he can be taken out by somebody else who's a master of their martial art, if that makes sense. What his main job is to teach Doctor Strange how to fight. So he is actually Doctor Strange's teacher as far as martial arts goes, and also his sort of lackey, his second-hand man. He refers to Doctor Strange as master. He's pretty much his butler, and that actually comes up a few times throughout the comics. Aliases, Wong, as I said before, he doesn't really go by anything else. He has a couple of things, different variations of Wong or other words around it, but really he just goes by Wong, which, if what I said earlier about him not being in much, if that didn't get it for you, the fact that he really only goes by Wong, that probably should tell you something. Affiliations: the Midnight Suns and the Lookups. So, every time I do these Frosty features, these character profiles, I always do some research beforehand, because I read comics all the time, but that doesn't necessarily mean I know everything, right? So I dive in. I didn't know what the lookups were until my research. So the Midnight Suns, people in the Marvel Strike Force community talk about the Midnight Suns all the time. It's kind of similar, as far as I can tell, to what the Dark Hunter team is supposed to be. But the Midnight Suns essentially are sorcerers slash magicians in the Marvel universe that have had run-ins with Lilith. So they're essentially just really powerful sorcerers that kind of work together. And so this is the cool thing. So the thing I found out was the lookups. I didn't know what the lookups were, and I'm so excited that I found them. The lookups essentially is a superhero team, or it's sort of like the Avengers, but for the servants, the second-hand people. So the lookups are like Jarvis and Wong, right? It's the people who help the superpower people. So the lookups is literally a team of, Alfreds in Batman terminology, right? So I just thought that was really cool. They have their own team and they have meetings and stuff. Yeah. Background. So he's Tibetan. He was he's a lookalike of Khan. So Khan is a Tibetan monk who is his ancestor, and he looks just like him. It brings it up multiple times. It really doesn't actually go into too much detail into who Khan is. All we really know, for the most part, is that Wong looks like him. There is a small story about Khan, but it's really kind of quick, and really the only real ties is Wong's related to him and he looks like him. Okay, so here's some of the neat stuff about Wong anyway. So this is the first thing. Odd Kid's Elixir. So Wong was diagnosed with inoperable brain cancer, and he was saved by Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange, he throws a lot of things about his friends, his love life, his family, kind of to the wind, right? That's kind of part of who he is. And when Wong found out that he had brain cancer, he didn't want to tell Doctor Strange. But it's Doctor Strange, and eventually he found out that Wong had this cancer, and Doctor Strange legitimately goes to fight the demon god Otkid to get this elixir that it cures all of it cures all the pains of mortal men, I think is how it's worded, right? Cures all the pains of men's mind is what it is. So Doctor Strange fights him and he gets it, but he through the fight he loses most of it and he only has a drop left, and he ends up getting it to Wong, and Wong takes the one drop and he gets cured of his brain cancer. Because of Doctor Strange, which helping a brother out. It's good stuff. Relationships. So Doctor Strange is his master and his friend. So from 1963 all the way up until modern comics, he was kind of Doctor Strange's servant. Wong kind of just helped him out. He taught him martial arts. He kind of went back and forth on learning magic from Doctor Strange. But now in more modern comics, they see each other as equals, which is pretty awesome. Hamir the Hermit, that is Wong's father. Probably saying that wrong. Emi Chang is Wong's fiance who dies. We'll talk about that in a second. And Sarah Wolf, who is another Kamar-Taj apprentice who eventually becomes Wong's lover. Notable events: the death of Emi Chang. Right, so it was sort of like an arranged marriage. They were engaged or whatever, and she shows up and they start kind of running around together, and then Sister Nil, which is like a Lilithian demon, is trying to take down Doctor Strange always, and so she kills Emi Chang and poses as her, and she drains, as you can see in the picture, she drains the life from her, and then she takes her place, and Wong fully and utterly believes that is his fiance. And even after Doctor Strange outs her and defeats her or whatever, it pisses off Wong, and Wong becomes slightly mentally unhinged, and he actually leaves the Kamar-Taj, he leaves Doctor Strange with this demon, and he runs with her for a while. And so there's kind of a thing. Wong very often leaves Doctor Strange, and usually he comes back, and there was a point where he left forever, and he recently came back, just, because they're friends and they work together, and even though they have disagreements, and that's mainly the thing, is sometimes the way Doctor Strange will treat people, Wong, he feels like deep down that, not deep down, like his ethics don't line up with Doctor Strange's on some things, and Wong doesn't want to be a part of it. So he'll leave. Work with the new Avengers. So, I thought this was pretty funny. So that, after the new Avengers were formed, so like Luke Cage, Spider-Man, stuff like that, Doctor Strange called in Wong to kind of watch over them, as part of the lookout. So he calls in Wong to watch over them, but he hates it. He hates all of them. He doesn't want to work with them. And this is actually what he does for a while before, like the comics that are coming out now. Yeah, essentially, he calls in a forward pass, and Wong's really pissed about it, and like he legitimately in current comics will just sit there and just bitch about having to work for the new Avengers. So he had to cook and clean and stuff for the new Avengers, which is apparently he took as a huge insult. But yeah, so for power level, we had a lot of sorcerers. We have a lot of really powerful people coming through Marvel Strike Force recently. You could really tell with the kits, but I will say this is the first sorcerer that we've had that isn't just some supreme, some high level S tier sorcerer. So for Wong, I gave him the nuclear rating. So as a reminder, my ratings go: multiversal means they're a threat to existence as we know it, this universe and all other universes. Universal means you can take down your universe. You maybe hop over to another one and take that out. But your galactic issue. Cosmic means you can take out planets. Nuclear, probably a small city. City means you could probably take out a wall, right? City, thinking like Daredevil, Spider-Man. And then there's Greg. Greg is the undead Asgardian that Hela spawns in Marvel Strike Force. On a really good day with a really big sword, I could probably take out Greg. So I give Greg, he's kind of I rate him at the typical human power. And Wong is nuclear. He dives into all of the same sorceries as all the same magics as other sorcerers that have been on Frosty Features, but he's not that good at them. It points it out multiple times in the comics. They say it over and over. In the MCU, he shows that it seems like he's a little bit better at sorcery. He even becomes the Sorcerer Supreme, apparently. But in the comics, sorcery is not his thing. He's gotten better at it, but it's not his forte, right? So he has these universal powers. He has these cosmic abilities, essentially, but he can't use them to their full extent. Therefore, I give him that nuclear tag. So, that's all I have for Wong. Let me know in the comments what I missed, what you wish I saw, or what I got wrong, man. Sometimes, things happen. Are you excited for Wong to come into the MSF? He's on the Darkhold team, even though he has nothing to do with the Darkhold book. If you need to know more about what the Darkhold is, check out Frosty Features Morgan Le Fay. Yeah, so as a reminder, I stream on Twitch. Twitch TV /FrostyOssie0232 every Sunday starting at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. We have a good time. Come on and hang out. Hit that like button for your boy. And as always, y'all, stay cool.